Okay, so this is going to go before the big rant that I just did, but I was going to say this originally as I was walking around thinking about this and got here and just went off without really thinking it through. So let me just explain a little bit more about how all this actually works. So for the longest time, see, basically when I was a little kid, and I'm talking little kid, like 5 years old, like, little kid, I had some weird sexual shit done to me, it's fucked up. It's not right. It's really nobody's business, but nonetheless. So for a long time, the other guy has used the violation of my little kiddom sexually, that the whole thing is actually built on, in fact, to try to paint me as some sort of closet gay guy or whatever, that I don't really, that actually I'm that I'm not me, which is, I'm a pretty ordinary straight guy, in fact. Pretty damn pedestrian in most ways. A lot of weird shit happens around me, but I'm not really that unusual, and I'm certainly not, some closeted gay guy. Oddly enough, the other guy is like incredibly effeminate, and all throughout high school, everyone, they pretty much, were pretty clear that they thought he was gay. The other guy, because we're from the same town, the reason he's there is because he fucked my girlfriend when I was 16, 17 years old. And I was too young and stupid to dump her immediately, which I tried to, but she threatened suicide. Anyway, the point being, as I kept on pointing out, his trying to out me was really him outing himself for basically running a child sex slavery ring in which, involved literal child pornography of little fucking kids. Well, it didn't make him look so good, kind of pissed him off. And it just wasn't as effective anymore, you're calling him, queer and blah, 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 because, well, A, it's not true, but B, no one really fucking cares anymore, But in any event, he wasn't getting his bang for the buck out of it. Around this same time, I get up credible information that the guy has been accused of rape, credibly, on at least multiple occasions. I'm not saying it's a fact, I'm saying I've been given information that I consider credible that he had. He's screaming, "You're ruining my business." I don't give a damn about the business. Who cares? Fuck the business. It's, it's the truth of what's going on. So when he can no longer smear me for raping me as a little kid, basically, which is what he had been doing for the last several decades, when that didn't work anymore, they needed something else to make me hated, reviled, and othered, to desocialize, to make sure that I wasn't able to integrate into society, so that I would always remain outside of the social norm or what have you. That's when they came up with the idea of, hey, he's got this voice thing, we've got this machinery that can simulate it exactly, we'll take his person away from him, spew a bunch of racist shit so that everyone thinks that he's the racist when in fact it's us pushing it, and then he'll be hated for everything that he despises. It's perfect. And that's where we're at now. And from here on in will come the rest of the rant. But just a little backstory, that's why this is happening. Dude no longer could get off on sexually violating me as a little kid and get away with it and be proud of it. Got busted for, at the very least, sexual misconduct pretty clearly, and possibly much, much, much worse. Didn't like it and said, we gotta hurt this guy. And said, hey, we'll just take his person from him and spew hate. And then say he's the hater, when in fact all the hate's been focused at me the entire goddamn time. And that's how it operates. One guy versus a fucking $1 trillion fucking media machine, who's gonna fucking win? Who's gonna, they can actually out themselves and say, hey, we did some fucked up shit to that guy. Fuck no. It's gotta be that person's fault. They've done nothing wrong. So, anyway, now on to the main rant. This one's gonna be pretty quick and to the point. Here's the thing, I've been lied about throughout my entire life just because, well, for a lot of different reasons. The main one being is that by anyone's estimation, what they have done to me and continue to do to me is not only incredibly immoral and unethical and illegal, it's just plain wrong. So to make it all right for them to have done all this stuff to me, I have to be something terrible, right? And so they've got to create these things that make me something really awful so that it's okay that they can, that I'm so fucked by them, right? And, if such a thing doesn't exist, fuck, they can create it. I got this sigh voice thing, and yeah, I can, thought speak at people to some extent. Not all the time, not necessarily that loud. There are these things called carrier waves that they can use to enhance it and whatnot. There's also a shit ton of fake voice or side on the air all the time. It's just, somebody programming it in, somebody on a mic somewhere, and they put it in on a subtext signal channel or whatever. I mean, it sounds very conspiratorial, but believe you me, it is in fact entirely real. So at times they allow me to be myself. People are like, oh, that's who Dave is, blah, blah, blah. And then they turn off the carrier wave and continue and run something else and say, oh, this is Dave, and say really flat out racist shit on there and be like, oh my God, Dave, that's Dave, and I just walk past this motherfucker on the street. And, I'm walking along, I walk past, I don't think anything of it, and I'm like, almost half a block away, and I hear him say, oh, that guy's racist. And I'm just like fucking stunned. I'm like, what? Because it's absurd, Personally, I find the idea of racist offensive to begin with at all. We're a fucking species. The amount of melatonin in your skin, or the shape of your eyes, or your nose, or ears, or whatever the fuck, doesn't make any difference. We're a goddamn species. We're one species. And racist motherfuckers are the most vile, hateful, and evil people on earth. And the fact that they have done so much and promoted so much hatred and vilification and ostracization of my person has brought them to a point where it behooves them to falsely fucking label me the most obscene and foul thing in the world to me, and as part of this process of desocialization, so that I not only am I like, do people not know me, they think that the person, when they see me, they think I'm exactly the opposite of the person that I actually am. So I am completely and utterly, totally isolated. And the social contract goes on. This motherfucker gets to say that, but as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, next time that happens, I'm gonna turn around and walk back and be like, excuse you, based on what? Because that's just not true. But you know what? He'll just lie. He'll just ignore it. Be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because the social contract is everybody gets to have this big gossip fest, hate rant, whatever, validate the other guy's hatred of me and the general malfeasance around the entire thing of violating someone's entire life for profit and fun by smearing and maligning the person that, you've done all this to. So you do this horrible series of crimes and wrongs and immoral acts to a person, and then, you don't want to be seen as being the people who do monstrous, horrible, obscene, awful, hateful shit to somebody. So what do? You take their person away from them and have the people and use a fake version of their person to say really hateful, evil, vile stuff to validate all the hateful shit that you've done to them. So it's just this endless round and round of you gotta, violate and exploit, which means you gotta ostracize and vilify, which means you got, on and on and on. And it just never fucking ends. And it's such fucking flaming bullshit. It makes me just want to goddamn scream. I own me, nobody else. They can use sophisticated technology to have people believe things that are wildly untrue about me just because, well, it's either me or them, pretty much, right? Somebody's going to look bad in this situation, and I'm just one guy. They're a $1 trillion industry. Who do you think's going to win in that situation? Tell you what, it ain't going to be the one guy they've been exploiting for his entire goddamn life. That's for fucking sure. It's sure as hell it's going to be all his fault that they've done all this hateful shit to him. And he really deserves all of the animosity, the vilification, ostracization, othering, and, desocialization that you could pour onto him. Because otherwise, otherwise they're horrible people, which, well, obviously I guess they just fucking are. And there's your proof. Fuck them. So there's my quick statement about how this thing works and why it's so completely and utterly frustrating. It's the kind of thing where if people honestly believe those bald-faced lies about me, there's no point in my being here. If I don't know me, if I can't say, hey, I'm this or that, or they're unwilling to be honest about who I am, which they are obviously unwilling to do so, or the compromise is that they will be mostly honest about my person for some percentage of the time, but then an equal and or greater percentage of the time, they take my person away from me and spew horrible, monstrous, evil, either gay shit or racist stuff or misogynistic crap or something that is just so far removed from who I am, it's mind-blowing. designed to make me look like some horrible thing that should be absolutely reviled and shunned. And what do you know? It works. You know, I'm like, well, you didn't. Face blind as shit. You know, the women are very understandably, at best, like, cautious, you know, like, I don't think so. Only when they've got it really cranked up how great I am, then the women get kind of like, yeah, maybe. But then there are all these actresses and movie stars and whatnot, and then the women are like, well, I can't compete with them. So I'm fucked no matter what, you know. It's just fucking infuriating. And it's like, the whole act of the way that whole thing promulgates, you know, the way that transaction transpires just so clearly illuminates how utterly, clearly and plainly, undeniably wrong they know themselves to be, that they have to actually take ownership of my person away from me and use that falsely created doppelganger, fake version of me to spew vitriolic, hateful shit to justify their own hatred of me. For why? Because that other motherfucker, that's how he gets his reward. It's all part of the, you know, lottery in Babylon. I mean, him getting millions of dollars and all the fine honey you can shake a stick at doesn't really mean shit to him unless he can fucking majorly shit on me. And to majorly shit on me, you gotta do something. You gotta really fucking vilify the fuck out of a motherfucker to make it okay to really ostracize and vilify somebody. So just take this person away, spew racist, misogynistic, whatever, hateful stuff you can, and, you know, claim that's who he is. And well, he's fucked, you know, But hey, the Robbie's reward is not only the millions of dollars and all the fine honeys and the big time connections to the infotainment scene. That doesn't really matter. No, the real reward for the other guy is that he gets to have me seen as everything I'm not. As far removed from what I actually am as it could possibly make me seen as. It will have me seen as, so that I will be absolutely hated and reviled. And frankly, you know, if they honestly believe that stuff, justly so. You know, I despise racist, misogynistic fucking scumbags, you know? Who doesn't? And this is why, you know, am I going to survive this thing? I don't know, man. At this point, I mean, really, if I don't know me, if I'm just here to be abused by the other guy as part of his reward, you know, and it's undeniable that, you know, when it's the other guy's time, that's when they smear and malign the living fuck out of me completely. It's like he has no use or existence other than parasiting off of me, pretending to be me, while bizarrely enough, passing off a fake version of me that is every hateful thing that it is so far removed from me as it is possible to be. Fucking drives me nuts. Anyway, peace out. Love y'all.